Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I'm Plants by Melissa here and over on Instagram as well. And welcome to my first plant tour of 2023. I'm really excited to show you guys my space. I've done some rearranging in here since the last tour. I'm going to show you guys my plant room here first, and then we will show you some other areas of my home. I'm really excited. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get to it. I am going to show you guys my cabinet first. As you can see, my cabinet looks a lot different. Would you believe me if I told you I had all of my anthuriums stuffed in this cabinet? And yes, I have like 4 big anthuriums like that, and they were all crammed in here. So I have taken a good majority of the large ones out, and yeah, I added some plants in here and it looks so much different. It is cleaner, and my pegboards are out and they did mold on me, which was really disgusting. So I think the overall look of the cabinet looks so much better without those in there. And I wasn't using them. It got a good clean out over New Year's and it just looks amazing. I just love it. First up is this beautiful anthurium. There goes Chai. This is actually a hybrid. It is a cross between a crystallinum and a magnificum. And these leaves are gorgeous and they're pretty big leaves. Look at the veining on that. That is just striking. So beautiful. I do have a couple inflows on this plant and it looks like it's probably pushing a new leaf down in there soon. So yes, it is definitely like fanned out more. I wasn't sure how this one was going to do just because it is receiving way less light here. I don't have any grow light over top of it. I actually might get something and add a light to this area, but I'm not sure yet. So far it's doing well. It is pushing a leaf, even though it is under lower light levels, but it has just fanned out and it just has so much extra room to grow. I think this leaf is moving towards the light from the window, and then these leaves are actually, I think, fanning towards the light with this mother light here. So I think it's doing well so far out of the cabinet, and yeah, it is just a gorgeous anthurium. This anthurium started really tiny in my collection, and I'm proud to see it, you know, grow up and be how it is today. And just like with the last video, if you guys have questions on where something is from, if you're wanting a link to something, just let me know. Leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to give you a link. But I will have as much as I can linked below down in the description box. And look at this beautiful anthurium here. So this is a clarinervium. And again, all of my anthuriums started pretty small, so I've had this one in my collection for a while. Look at the veining on that. But yes, I just love the overall shape and everything. It is such a beautiful anthurium. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves on it currently. Besides this anthurium, this is a little tiny magnificum. It has a few leaves here. This one's taken a while to kind of grow. It's been in my care for a while. This is the latest leaf, which is a little bit bigger. But again, I'm excited to see this one grow up. It started as a tiny seedling, so it's taken a long time, but yeah, hopefully it'll kind of start growing more this year for me. Besides that one is my queen anthurium, my Anthurium warocqueanum. And this anthurium has been with me since 2021. And she hasn't been the happiest. She's definitely gotten a lot happier lately. I'm trying to do better about keeping her more watered. Look at this beautiful leaf. I still get some crisping. Here's an older leaf that has some crispiness, but she shut out, let's see, there's several of these that are new. Like this is a new one. I'm trying not to touch the new leaves. I can't wait to get big leaves of this one, but she's definitely happier now that I'm trying to keep her more watered. It's just hard sometimes because my cabinet tends to dry pretty quickly. Such a gorgeous anthurium. Behind that one is one that I imported from Indonesia. This one is a dresserly, and it did actually give me an inflow. This is one of the newer leaves here. It kind of got stuck unfurling, and it does have the original leaves that are yellowing a bit that are going. It has a couple original leaves back there. And then that one and that one are the two newer leaves in my care. And then back behind this anthurium, this is my Philodendron Burl Marks Fantasy. And I did recently put it on this pole, so it really hasn't climbed too much yet. I just think the leaf shape is so cool on that one. I think I potted 4 individual cuttings, so I'm excited to see that one climbing. And yeah, I think it's gonna look really cool once it gets tall. And then yesterday I actually put my pinstripe calathea back here. It only has 2 leaves. It has several new shoots coming out, you can see. I had to chop a lot of growth off. It just got really unhappy. Ever since it came down with thrips this summer, it just has not wanted to grow for me. The new leaves keep dying off. So I just stuck it in my cabinet hoping the temperature in here will keep it somewhat happy. It is warmer in my cabinet than in my plant room currently since it's winter. So I'm thinking it just doesn't like the cold maybe out here in my room environment. So we'll see. I'm excited to hopefully get that one growing again. Here is the shelf. And you guys, I think the most impressive plant growth for me personally has been my varicosum. This plant has taken over 2 years, and this is my 3rd time trying to grow it. And look at this new leaf it just gave me, and it is working on a new one. I just can't tell you how happy I am to have this plant growing back for me. And it's just growing so well in the cabinet and on this thick leaf pole. I feel like this one is definitely a thirstier philo, and it prefers a more consistent environment, so it's doing well in my cabinet. I'm going to keep this one in my cabinet as long as I can. Back behind that is my Melanochrysum. Again, this one was an import from Indonesia, and I have it on a thick leaf pole as well. And yeah, I hope to get this one growing really nice and tall for me. I've had this one since the end of summer, and yeah, this one did not come in the best shape. I had to completely chop it and reroot it. So this is all the new growth that I've gotten since that propagation. Oh no, I must have gotten some dirt on that leaf from the drippings above. Something must have dripped on it. I'm gonna have to clean that. But this is my black velvet. This is one of the alocasias in my collection that has had a harder time with me. And I added lots of corms in there. You can see them starting to grow. But for some reason, this one has taken a while to kind of pop off for me. So I'm hoping here in the cabinet it does better. I feel like so far it's doing well in here, and yeah, this one has been a finicky alocasia for me. And all of my other alocasias are doing really well, but this one is a bit harder for me for some reason. Here in the front, I'm gonna show you, this is my variegated Adansonii. Isn't that gorgeous? This one was from Botanica's, and it has a lot of white. Look at all of that white. I am gonna get this one potted and staked up on a thick leaf pole as well. But yeah, I love this plant. I just wished it didn't have so much white on it, but it is beautiful. This one started from a 2-leaf tiny plant. And this one here is a Philodendron Florida Beauty. This was an import from Indonesia as well. Look at that variegation, isn't that beautiful? That leaf too. So I think this one is going to be an every other leaf variegation because it gave me a green leaf, then a variegated leaf, then another green leaf, then a variegated leaf. So I think this one is going to be all green. But as long as I'm continuing to get variegation, I'm happy because, you know, my other one did revert on me. So I have this one in here just to kind of appreciate this one a bit more, and then it's going to outgrow this spot very quickly, so it's not going to be able to stay in here very long, but for now I'm enjoying it being in here. Here in the front I have one of my Philodendron Pink Princesses. This one I grew back from a cutting. This was from the plant that grew all pink leaves, and so I chopped it back, and this is one of the growths that came back from chopping it. I have a couple other Pink Princesses in my collection that I will show you. And this is my Philodendron Mame or Mamei. This one it grew back from a node that I chopped, and I have another one that I'll show you. It has given me a new leaf. This one went downhill. It yellowed pretty much every leaf, so I completely chopped it back, and I hope to get this one growing again because it was really beautiful, and I'm sad that, you know, that happened to this plant, but it is beautiful. This one is a crawler. And this one gets the rippling on the petiole there. Isn't that beautiful? I just really love this philodendron. And then down here on the bottom shelf, I'm not really going to go over these too much, but this is pretty much all of my alocasia corms and props that I keep in here. And these are all my Milano Chrysum props that I'm going to be taking out of here and potting up. Aren't they beautiful? Look at that color on that. That is stunning. I just love that color. This is a variegated Alocasia frydek corm, and I'm really sad because I dropped this one the other day when I was watering, and you see I broke this stem, so it's probably going to die. It does have a new leaf coming, and I cannot believe I accidentally bent that. That hurt my heart. A lot of these corms are in Fluval Stratum. It's what I'm rooting a lot of these corms in now. Here's the other variegated frydek that I have growing. It doesn't have a lot of variegation on it, but hopefully it'll get some. And I do have some Monstera obliqua nodes in here as well. These are from my main plant. It threw a runner out, so I chopped the runner, and this is the growth from that runner. And then the rest of these are just various corms in my collection. I had potted some into soil recently, and I have some other like various props in there. So yeah, this is Luna. I don't know what she's trying to do. So that is my updated cabinet. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. These are the Barrina T8 lights, if you were wondering. And I have 2 fans in here for airflow. And yeah, it's done really, really well. I'm really happy with it. My anthuriums were taking up so much space in here that I'm excited that these plants can, you know, spread their wings a little bit. This guy still is a little squished, but I think he's fine to stay in here. So there's another look at the cabinet. Let's do this window shelf next because once the sun starts coming in more, it gets really, really bright over here. So while it's still kind of morning here, let's do this window. Then I will show you my pole area, and then we'll do this one over here. I spy a kitty cat. Hi, Lulu. I had to sacrifice plants to make a spot for the cats because they keep jumping up there and knocking my plants over. They still knock plants over, but they want the sun coming in from the window because it's really warm and sunny. And yeah, I can't wait till it warms up so that they can spend all their time outside like they did over the summer instead of in my plant room messing my plants up. But yes, so this shelf here is from Overstock. It's a TV stand. And I'm eventually gonna have to be moving a lot of these plants away because I have Barrina T5 lights. A lot of the plants are reaching the top where the light is, and I've had to kind of finagle a lot of the alocasia leaves so that they don't get burnt. I had to move my Maykoyana down because I accidentally burned the top leaf here, which I'm really sad. This one, it burned because it was like up and it hit the grow light. So I'll start here. This is my Calathea Maykoyana, and it did bloom for me recently. How exciting. I've had this plant for over 2 years. I had to completely chop it back and regrow it. And yeah, it's bloomed for the first time, which is very, very exciting. Honestly, I love Calatheas. It's just, this one is just one of my favorites. The backside of the leaves is just beautiful. I don't know, like look at this gorgeous plant. I love it. So it's living right down here now since it can't fit on the shelf anymore. Beside that one, this is my variegated Maranta rabbit tracks. I recently did a prop and chop project with it, so it's not as full as it normally is. And I have lots of cuttings I'm going to be adding back in soon as they're done rooting. I actually need to check on those. I feel like I could definitely add more back in there. But I chopped it because a lot of the growth came out green. It grew a lot of reverted strands, so I chopped it back in order to hopefully promote more variegation. And I feel like so far it's working. It's giving me some more variegation. And then once I add those props back in, hopefully I can get this plant growing really full and pretty again because It was gorgeous at one point. It definitely took a little bit of a hit. This is my Stramanthe Trio Star. If you don't have a Stramanthe Trio Star, I mean, look at that. Look at that pink underside, that tone. This plant is beautiful. So a lot of these calatheas and prayer plants, they grow through rhizomes in the soil, so they multiply on their own. In order to propagate these guys, you have to separate them from the rhizomes. So this plant has literally filled itself out. I have not done anything with this plant. I actually need to repot it soon because it is getting a bit more root bound, so I'll have to do that at some point here. But yes, the pattern, the color, the underside, everything about this plant is gorgeous. This one is my red Maranta, and look how full. I've gotten this one pretty full by propagating. I recently upsized it to an 8-inch pot, and it's done well since the upsize. It's giving me flower blooms. It's putting out new leaves, new growth, so it seems happy. I was worried it would have shocked a little bit just because it is in the off season, but I didn't mess with the root system at all when I upsized it, and yeah, it's done really well since then. So yeah, I love Marantas. You may see a lot of Marantas if you haven't watched one of my houseplant tour videos. I love these plants so much, and they do well for me, which I'm really happy about. But yes, I can't. It's just so beautiful. This is my rattlesnake calathea. And yeah, this one has been a pretty easy calathea in my care. I was worried I burnt the top of that one too because it was touching the grow light. But yeah, this one has been really easy. It's got like this burgundy undertone to the backside to it. And I got this one at a garden center last year sometime. It was in like a 4-inch pot. And then it's multiplied and done really well. So I'm thinking this time next year it's going to be a pretty big plant. So yeah, I have to watch out because of that grow light. But yeah, I'll probably have to set this one down here on the floor too. This middle row is all alocasias. I pretty much kept the same alocasias here, minus the gloriosum on the end. So this one is growing in nicely. I actually am repotting this one soon, so you'll have to stay tuned for a video because it's actually at the end and it's like pushing out the pot. It's like pushing it. So I really need to get it upsized. This is a new leaf it gave me. No, this one I think is the recent leaf. And this one had thrips in my plant. Remember this summer? This plant has had a long journey with me. It's taken 2 years to get to this point. I rotted it out and it struggled in my care, but it's growing and happy. I'm gonna be nervous to repot it. I'm gonna do as little as I can with the root system. I don't wanna even touch it. But yes, I love Philodendron gloriosum. It is beautiful. I actually have a hybrid of this one that I'll show you in my moss pole area. But yes, gorgeous plant. This one is my silver dragon alocasia. It is beautiful. I have corms in here planted, lots of baby ones in there growing too. It is really, really big. Like look how full and fluffy this one is. So yeah, I love alocasias. I have the regular dragon scale as well that I'll show you. It's right there. I don't know, I love the silver dragon. I love the leaves. This one was always like my favorite over the dragon scale, but my dragon scale gave me this big leaf recently, and I don't know, something about the dark pattern on this, I feel like I like this one a little bit more just because of that leaf size. It is beautiful. I think that one might be working on a new leaf soon. Yeah, I don't know, it's just such a beautiful alocasia. And this one is my Amazonica or Polly, this one here. And it's growing really well. I have lots of babies. I think this is a new leaf coming in here. But yeah, this one I have to be careful too because I feel like it's reaching the top of this. There's like a section in the middle that doesn't have grow light, so I have that one kind of in the center on purpose. But yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna put these plants because they are outgrowing this space. This is probably one of my favorite alocasias, besides my Frydect, is my Alocasia caprea. This is a new leaf it just gave me, which I think is now the winner. I think this one has officially maybe outgrown the size. This one is huge. I mean, look at this leaf. It is so pretty. it has been such an easy alocasia for me too. After I moved, I had it in my cabinet and it lost all of its leaves except for one. So I've got it to grow back, and it currently has, without moving it too much, it currently has one leaf back there, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6. So it currently has 6 leaves. And this one is only in a 5-inch pot. Alocasias tend to like to be a little bit more on the root bound side, so I tend not to upsize these too large. We talked about that one, and this one is my Maharani, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one has 9 leaves. It is crazy. This one has been with me for about 2 years as well, and yeah, let me take this one down because I just want to show you in its entirety of how beautiful this plant is. I love the texture. Such a beautiful alocasia, look at that. So, so, so pretty. Yeah, this one has taken a while to hold on to more leaves and to get to this point. So I'm very appreciative of it and how long it's taken to, you know, grow back. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites. All right, the sun is starting to come in, so we are gonna go ahead and do my hanging baskets and then this top row, and I'm gonna try not to blind you guys. And starting over here, okay, I had to do that with 2 hands. So this is my Pilea peperomioides, and I recently upsized this plant to an 8-inch. No, I did a 6-inch. No, I did a 7-inch. I'm sorry, because it wasn't a 6-inch and I didn't want to go up to an 8-inch, so it is in a 7-inch pot. And it's been pushing out lots of new growth since I did the repot. And it's mostly 2 vines. I have the oldest vine here, and then I have another vine on the other side, and I have so many babies. It has lost some leaves recently. I don't know if it was from the repot or just the season, but yeah, it seems to be doing well overall, and I'm happy about that. It seems happy. So I do have 2 stakes to support the 2 tallest vines. I have a stake here and a stake on the other side, and I have like little twist ties tying the stake around the vine to help support it so that it grows straight up. So yeah, I can't wait to get this plant growing more, and I'll probably have to upsize it to an 8-inch, probably. Imagine sometime later this year. I feel like it's gonna outgrow the 7-inch probably by the end of the growing season, especially over summer. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it and see how it does. Here is my beautiful Monstera aria. It is gorgeous. The variegation is just to die for on this plant. This is the newest leaf here, and the variegation is still kind of coming in. I just love this Monstera so much. Seriously, it's one of my favorites. There, I wanted to show you kind of in some different lighting. Like, look at that. It is absolutely gorgeous. I did repot this one on my channel. She's stunning. She's my favorite plant in my collection. I love her so much. Okay, I'm gonna show you these plants kind of not by the window just because the sun is so bright. So this Monstera albo here, this one actually came from that plant over there, that original leaf. So this is the growth that came from that, and that's the newest leaf. It is very, very white. So it looks like the next one, the stem is still pretty green, so I feel like I should hopefully, you know, at least continue getting the green. So far the white has held up. You know, all of my Monsteras had thrips over the summer, but they pulled through, and yeah, I'm happy that they're happy. But yeah, I love this one. This one is my favorite just because it's special and means so much to me. And yeah, we have a long story together. This one is another Monstera albo. This one I recently separated. This one has a lot of half moons on it, and that's the newest leaf there. And I'll link my Monstera albo video for you guys that want to see my Monsteras more closely. There's her. And I had this one and another one growing in the same pot, and that one is right here. You guys probably aren't going to be able to see. This is the one that I took from her. So I split them to make 2 plants. So this one is definitely more variegated. And this one here is my last Monstera albo. This one has 2 vines growing. I had propagated this one, and she kind of split down here that you can see where I chopped. I don't know if that's picking up where I chopped in the center. Down there you can see, and then so it activated 2 growth points. So I have 2 vines growing on her. All of my albos came from the same seller, so they look kind of similar in a way. They're very, very beautiful. Next up is one of my gorgeous Thai constellations. That's a new leaf that it just gave me. And this leaf here is absolutely gorgeous on this plant. So beautiful. Chai recently knocked this down, so it broke, and yeah, it's a gorgeous Monstera. I love Monstera Thai constellation, and I have a baby one I'm going to show you too, but this leaf here, that creamy, that is everything. Such a beautiful Monstera. And then here's my other baby Tycon. That new leaf is fenestrated there. It's so cute. So this one has been doing well. So all of my Monsteras get a ton of light, and I feel like that helps them like tremendously with their growth. And yeah, this one is really cute too. I think I eventually might let this one go, but yeah, I'm definitely keeping my other one. Okay, I have turned the brightness down just a little bit just to finish up over here by the window because the sun is making it very hard to see these plants. I showed you all of my Monsteras, and let's go ahead and show you my Alocasia Friedeck here. You can see, now I'm wondering if I made it too dark. It's really hard to film over here by the window. Isn't she gorgeous? She did just recently give me a new leaf here, right here. But yeah, she's got gorgeous big velvety leaves, such a beautiful Alocasia. She's never given me any trouble at all. Like, look at that. So pretty. I love her so much. I think she's probably my favorite, and then my Capri is probably my second favorite Alocasia. I just love the velvety texture on this one. All right, so that's all the top row. Oh, I forgot. So this is my Serpens back here. This is the one that had the fungal infection, and it gave me its first new leaf, and then it is, oh wait, that's the first new leaf, and then this is a new leaf. It just unfurled. I hadn't seen that unfurl yet, and it has the fuzzy petiole there. So I think I'm going to get it repotted soon. I think it's in too small of a pot, and Chai recently knocked this one down too, and it's spilled like 3 times already. And then here in the window is my Hoya Sunrise. All the blooms have fell off of this one again. It's been blooming all summer for me, and the sun stressing on this is beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. I had this side against the window, so the sun stressing gets really prominent. So I turned it around recently when I watered everyone. So I have that side getting the sunlight now. So that side's gonna get really sun stressed. I have a baby rescue Ficus triangularis down here. It's just down to 1 vine. I got this on clearance at Lowe's. So I hopefully plan to propagate this to get like a bushier plant going, but right now it's just 1 vine. But I have it in here in the window getting this full sun. I'm going to turn it around because it was leaning a bit. That was the Monstera that I showed you. And then over here is my Hoya Shepherdii. This one's been in my collection for a while. It hasn't bloomed yet. I thought I had a couple peduncles, but they never pushed out or did anything. So yeah, like here's one here, a peduncle. I don't know if you can make that out. So it just hasn't done anything yet, but we'll see. Maybe I can get it to bloom for me this year. It's been loving the light here in the window. Actually, all my Hoyas, you see I have a lot of Hoyas up top. All these ones in the window have bloomed now, except for my Linearis, which I think my Linearis is going to bloom this year for me. Starting on the end here, this is my string of turtles, or Peperomia prostrata. Look at that. It is such a full basket. I hope you can make this out okay without it being too dark, but it is super long. It is super full. It pretty much like grows on its own. I have propagated it before, but ever since I repotted it in that terracotta, I do have an old video on my channel of me repotting that. It's crazy to see the growth difference from that video compared to now. This one is my Hoya Polynura. And this one recently, I found some peduncles there on the back side of it. You can't really make them out, but it is going to start blooming for me soon, which is really exciting. It grew 2 nodes on its own, so this one started really small, as well as my linearis here. This one started really small. I do have a couple of what looks to be possibly peduncles, but they haven't done anything yet. They kind of look like, I don't know if you can see that thing there in the center, but they kind of dry up. So I feel like I want to get this one repotted soon because it gets so much sun that I feel like I am underwatering these 2 especially. They're more of like a thinner leaved Hoya, and with the amount of sun that they're getting, I tend to dry them out quickly. Next to that one is my Hoya retusa. This one I had put on a trellis and then I didn't like it growing on the trellis, so I'm letting it trail. This one has bloomed for me and it's growing peduncles again. You can see one. This one does single flower blooms. They're really pretty. It doesn't do like a normal flower bloom. So yeah, this one has been loving the light in my window. Next to that one is my Hoya Barrina. Hopefully you can make this one out okay. So this one has lots of peduncles and blooms. This is my oldest Hoya. It's been blooming, oh gosh, ever since, I would say, it's been blooming for a while. Here's a bloom that's open. The blooms smell like butterscotch on this Hoya. And this one gets really beautiful sun stressing too in the sun. Yeah, she's been blooming for at least 1.5 years, I would say. And then over here on this section, I have a sad string of hearts there that is growing back in that, that first one. I have lots of new growth starting to push out. I'm not sure what happened with that one. And then I have my variegated string of hearts. I am going to be repotting this one soon. I want to get it into a shallow pot and I want to propagate it to fill it out. This Hoya has become one of my favorites recently. It's in like this cute little sloth pot and it's recently bloomed for me. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? And it's got several more peduncles and I got some up there. Yeah, this one's really, really happy. I don't know if I said this was a lacunosa, but it's become one of my favorites recently. And then here are my string of pearls. I have my regular green one and then my variegated one. And my variegated one is seriously filling in so nicely. Look at how beautiful that is. And then my green one has definitely like filled out very nicely too. Yeah, they get so much light over here in the window, so they do really well just because of all the sun coming in. These plants in my window honestly just thrive. Look at how beautiful. I definitely would love to. I had like a different hanging setup here, but I feel like I would love to give some more light to a couple more plants. Maybe I can get some hanging up a little bit higher. My goal next year is actually, or this year, is back here in the window. I didn't really show you, but I have a couple whalefin sansevierias. I have a variegated one and a regular one. And then I have this Whitney snake plant. And then I have several, these are really my only succulents in my collection. They just hang out here getting the south light. But I want to eventually take these away. I don't know where I would put them because this is the best light and these guys need a lot of light. But I would love to get some of my other Hoyas in this window just because they love the light. And I feel like I like my Hoyas a little bit more than these succulents. So I don't know, I was thinking about maybe making some kind of succulent arrangement and maybe sticking this outside on my porch and maybe putting my other snake plants outside and then like house them somewhere else over winter. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I'm not really like loving these right here by the window. One more look at this beauty right here. So I'm gonna give you one more look at the window plants. So there was my Frydek again. Luna decided to jump back up there. Yeah, I'll have to fix all my monsteras and then put her back up top on the end. But yeah, I love this shelf. It's one of my favorite shelves and it's just crazy to see the growth. I feel like my plants have just gotten so big this past year. It's crazy looking back at all the growth that I've gotten. All right, I'm gonna be moving on to this corner and then I'm gonna be showing you guys my moss poles next. Moving along, so this is another allocation in my collection. This is my big, beautiful Regal Shields. And the leaves on these are just so gorgeous. I don't know, I love my Fradic, but then when I see this one, I feel like this one is so underrated. And the backside of this plant, you guys, especially in the sunlight, you can really make it out, but that lime green center is just so beautiful. And it looks like she is pushing a new leaf. And I do have a corm in here that I added in, not last year, but the year before. And this one is actually working on a new leaf too. But she has several leaves and she's been as happy as a clam, never has had any issues, pests, nothing. Just so happy. I love this one. So I had her on the other shelf, but she got too big for it. So we have her in this section, which she does get some light from the window and then a little bit of light from this light as well as the light up above. So I feel like she'll be happy in that corner. And then I have my squamiferum back there. I have like a dried moss stake down the center. This is one of the newer leaves. So pretty. This one has the red fuzzy petiole there. So yeah, I really love that one. That one I got from her greenhouse back in North Carolina. You can get these at the big box store, like a nice full big pot of them now for pretty inexpensive. But I have mine just one vine growing up, so I'm gonna let it grow and grow and grow and get really tall. Here in the front is my philodendron Jose Bueno, and yeah, I grew this one from a tiny cutting, and this is the growth that I've gotten from this plant. That leaf there with that half moon is so pretty. And I think this is the latest leaf, which is a little bit small. I had a little bit of a support stake in there, but yeah, I feel like this one definitely would appreciate more light for sure. She does get a little bit, you know, like I said, from this grow light, but I don't know. I'm kind of, like I said, running out of room. So for now, I just have that one there kind of elevated a little bit off the floor so the cats can't get to it, but I think it'll be fine there for the summer. And my moss poles have definitely grown quite a bit more since my last tour video. These two have become some of my favorite poles, as well as my Adansonii and my Splendid here. Look at this new leaf, you guys. She is beautiful. She must have got some dripping on her or something. Just gorgeous. I just love the Splendid. She's so beautiful. She's already pushing a new leaf probably soon too. And I do have a couple other little vines in there catching up. I propagated this plant, but one main vine is kind of growing now. So yeah, she is sizing up nicely. Very beautiful. My neon doesn't get the best light. She's kind of back here in the corner, but she is climbing slowly. So yeah, I really wish I could give these guys more light. Again, I might install more lights in here. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm trying to rotate them. So I might put a different plant in that corner and bring her out maybe to this way so that we can kind of rotate the light around. Hey, you guys, hey, stop fighting. No, come on, break it up. Yeah, my Adansonii is still plastic here down, so I'm gonna be chopping this one soon. I do have one other vine kind of in the middle there. And yeah, I accidentally broke the top leaf off. She would have had one more leaf, which I'm really sad about, but it's okay. She'll grow back. But yeah, the leaves are pretty big on this one. It's crazy that this is a Monstera Adansonii. And she's probably my favorite pole, is my Marble Queen, just my absolute favorite. I did chop her, and yeah, this plant is just stunning. I don't know what else I can say about this plant. That leaf is seriously my favorite leaf of all time. I mean, the leaves are so big on this plant, and look how thick the vine is. Isn't that crazy? She has like one long aerial root. It's like a Monstera deliciosa. And she's got all the roots you can see just going into the moss. But yeah, she's definitely my favorite pole. She is half plastic as well. So as soon as she reaches the top here, I will be having to chop her again to get rid of the plastic. But yeah, it's crazy to think that this is a Marble Queen. The bottom cuttings are doing well. I had put a couple more cuttings in there and they seem to be holding on okay. So yeah, I'm hoping by the time I have to chop her again, those can kind of continue growing, but we'll see. They're definitely slow. Here's my Epipremnum Cebu Blue. This again is one of my favorite new leaves. It is beautiful. She's so full and fluffy on the bottom. I have so many cuttings in here that are going to eventually climb up, and I don't really like this gap, but they'll definitely kind of cover that and fill that in time here. The new leaves come in so small, but the new leaf is definitely going to expand and get even bigger. I can definitely tell she's going to finish straight soon. Yeah, just absolutely gorgeous. Such a stunning, stunning plant. I love that silvery blue. Next to that one is my Monstera Siltepecana, and she has finally fenestrated for me. Look at that. She's got a couple holes, and this newest leaf has a fenestration there. It's definitely still hardening. It's still very soft, but she is getting bigger, and it's crazy. It's crazy to think that, like, how mature plant leaves can get just from climbing. And I do have several vines in here that are growing and catching up. So she's probably my tallest wire pole. Actually, my Cebu Blue is a little bit taller. So I really don't want to chop her because she is kind of reaching the top. This one grows really fast. So I might do, if I can get one more extension on without this plant toppling over, I might do that before I cut her again. Actually, I haven't chopped this plant yet. But we'll see. I haven't decided. I'm gonna have to decide soon because, again, she grows fast and she is going to outgrow the pole very quickly. I actually thought about just like twisting her back down and letting her climb back down, but I want her to get larger leaves, so I don't want to do that. So we'll see. I might chop this top half, add a new pole, and let these ones climb up, and then maybe do this one and start a new pole with that one. But I'm running out of room. I don't really have room to make multiple poles of the same plant, so I don't know. I don't know what my thought process is on that one yet. I'm gonna have to think on that more. My philodendron micans here, I'm letting these tall vines grow really tall, and then I'm going to connect them to the bottom and let them grow up. I just, for some reason, can't bend these vines down without them snapping. So they're starting to get smaller as they're, you know, losing that support, which is fine, but I can't do anything with this plastic pole because it's so unsteady. You can kind of see it's leaning a bit. I did water these the other day, so she's a little bit top heavy with all the mass here. But good news is I do have micans on a wire pole here that you can see that is starting to climb. I took cuttings off of her, and then the new growth kind of reverted back to small. But yeah, I will get one on wire here growing up nicely, and then I will have 2 micans poles. Here in the front, this is my Monstera Esqueleto. It's one of my favorite new Monsteras because the leaf size is humongous. And it does have a new leaf coming in. This was the import from Indonesia as well. And this one is on Thickley's bigger girl pole. So yeah, I just love this Monstera. So beautiful. It's crazy. The size of this leaf compared to like my Marble Queen and Monstera, it's just crazy, like how massive. It doesn't really look like it's a big leaf, but until you get up to something that's kind of just as big, it's crazy to think how large these leaves are. Beside that one, my Epipremnum Panatum albo is growing. This is one of the newer leaves. And I have several vines in here that are climbing up. And yeah, I can't wait to see this one grow more for me. I have several that have some like half moon variegation. So yeah, this one's definitely going to be one of my favorite plants. Back behind that is a variegated Adansonii. It's the Indonesian form. Definitely some weird leaves. Yeah, it's just one vine, so I actually might propagate that one and do something else with it because I don't really like the way that it's spaced out and the way that it's growing. And I accidentally broke a leaf off too, so I have kind of an empty spot. So yeah, I'm probably going to chop that one back and propagate and maybe add more so that more can grow up. Here in the front is my Philodendron Majestic. It is getting the best light here from this mother light. And this one has not grown any since I put it on here. And it has been in my collection for months and months now. So I'm not sure why it's taking its sweet time. It is just, for some reason, not wanting to grow very fast. So yeah, I'm just waiting for this one to kind of wake up and start growing for me. I don't know what's taking it so long. Next to that one is my Syngonium albo. And this one is one main vine growing up. It is kind of spaced out here. It's kind of going in different directions. I think it's leaning towards light from all sources, but then I have I have another vine over here growing, and then I have several more cuttings there on the bottom that are growing. So hopefully I'm gonna get this one like filling in nicely. I don't know if I'll extend any more on top. I might just like trail it up and down so that I'll have a really full bushy Syngonium albo plant. Here in the front is my Philodendron glorious, one of my like up and coming favorite phylos. This is the new leaf. It is beautiful. And I have another probably new leaf coming in soon. I do have 2 more vines in here. I have one down on that side, and then I have another one there, and actually a cutting down on the other side. So yeah, I do have a few vines that will grow and fill up this pole, and then I'll be extending on top of that one. Yeah, this one is a hybrid. This is a hybrid between a Gloriosum and a Milano. And then my Splendid over there is a hybrid between a Varicosum and a Milano. I feel like the Glorious is a little bit harder in the sense that it grows a little bit slower. This one acts more like a Gloriosum for sure. This one, I feel like it's way more thirsty, so I've been trying to keep this one a bit more hydrated, and it's been doing better. Back behind that one is my Philodendron Camposportuanum. It is growing and getting kind of these mature bunny ear leaves here. This is one of the newer leaves. Look at how like those lobes are. Isn't that cool? And the vine is getting pretty thick on it. It doesn't want to stay on the pole. I've been having to pin each new leaf that comes out. It is rooting, it's just kind of rooting on the outside of it. It's not really digging itself into the pole. And I feel like the petioles are a little bit long on this plant. So this one is definitely an interesting shape. It definitely doesn't need such a large surface area. I feel like this one would have done fine just on like using a stake for support. So yeah, I don't know what my plan is once this one reaches the top. It still has a ways to go, but yeah, I don't know. It is interesting. I do love it, but I don't really necessarily like the way that it looks on such a big pole, I guess. And the last ones here on the end, I have my Heartleaf Philodendron. This one is still on plastic, and yeah, I'm probably gonna end up bending those vines back down. I thought about just starting over with a couple of these plants that are still on plastic and just getting rid of the plastic somehow, just starting them on a fresh pole that's made of wire. But yeah, I don't know. I might just end up maybe chopping it from like here and keeping this thick section and adding a wire, and then it'll eventually grow onto the wire. But again, I'm not sure. I don't know what my plan is. This one on the end is, yeah, it's my Rhaphidophora hayi, and I'm gonna completely chop this one back. And I actually might do a wood plank for this plant, you know, so it can have something to climb up. I tried to make a flat pole with that, but again, it didn't really work that well. It's very unsteady. I can't add to it. I have it wrapped all the way back down. It's not even on the pole anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna do that as a project one day. And here in the front, I have my Amedrium medium silver. It has a new leaf coming in. Isn't that pretty? And it has a couple leaves. I think this one accidentally got snagged or something. But yeah, and it has one back here too. It's a beautiful plant. I love the silvery blue. It is somewhat of a slow grower for me though. It doesn't put out a new leaf very often, at least in my experience. And this is my Gessiana pothos. Look at that pretty vibrant new leaves coming in. They kind of fade over time. I took cuttings off my main pot, so this one will get huge leaves one day since it's a pothos epipremnum. But yeah, Gessiana is just gorgeous. I wish they stayed this vibrant because they kind of, I don't know, they turn like a darker green and it doesn't look as nice when it starts to fade, I think, but the new leaves are very pretty. It's more like a yellow tone, I guess. All right, I'm gonna take you to this corner, and technically I don't have a grow light, but I do want to add more light, I've decided, because my plants down here aren't getting enough, and I've noticed the soil sitting a little bit too wet, more than I would like. And yeah, I don't like that. So I have this anthurium and this anthurium that I took out of my cabinet. And then I have a Maranta, my Calathea orbifolia. I moved my variegated burl marks here. And then I have a Monstera and a Ficus. So I have all these guys crammed in this corner. So my orbifolia has been through a lot with me. It does have some new growth coming in. And I actually had that one back in the corner, and then it wasn't getting enough light, and the soil was sitting wet for too long. So I think I made it a little bit angry. And this is the one that had thrips this summer, and it almost killed this plant, but hopefully I can get it growing better for me this summer. This anthurium here is my anthurium fingers. This is a new leaf. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. So gorgeous. It does have an inflow, which I'm going to try and see if I can collect that pollen on that maybe. You can see that pollen on there. So yeah, this one has been out of my cabinet. I took this one out first because it was too tall. It was hitting the grow lights. And I thought it didn't really like too intense of light in my cabinet, and it's done better out of the cabinet. I feel like it's a lot happier like in my plant room, getting a little bit less ambient light. So yeah, that one is doing well. My crystallinum is kind of fanning out a bit more. It was super squished in my cabinet. This one, I think I'm going to try and divide this plant. It like multiplied on its own, and there's so many individual I feel like I could probably cut that like 3 times or break that up and plant them separately. But this plant has so many leaves, and it was just so squished in my cabinet that it didn't really grow the best. Some of the leaves got really wonky, and it was drying out so fast. So hopefully I can get this one growing a bit better for me. I do really like this anthurium, but it's not one of my favorites just because, I don't know, I just let it get so squished in there. That is my Rabbit Tracks Maranta back there. You can see it is pretty big, and yeah, I recently propagated it, and I'm going to be adding some more cuttings back in to fill it out some more. I feel like it's not as happy being in this corner, so I'm probably going to move it. I don't know, I feel like I'm not utilizing the space back here because I don't have enough light, so there's a spot that's empty back there. So I think I might get some kind of lamp, like a lamp to plug in here, and then I'm going to take the lamp and have like 3 separate arms, and then I think I will shine it. I have this Scindapsus shelf. I think I'll shine it up that way, and then like 2 down that way so that these plants can all get some light. So I'm gonna look for something soon to put there. This is my variegated burl marks. It has a lot of like green reverting strands, but a lot of it is still very variegated. This is a new leaf that literally just unfurled. It is beautiful. Here's another one too, another new one. This vine has such prominent variegation, so it's very random. It gives me like some all green and some variegated, like I said, but the vine is still very variegated on it. So it's pretty large. It has several leaves. I had it on the other shelf there, but I gave that one to my Regal Shields, so it doesn't get enough light. It gets a little bit from the window, but I definitely want this one to get more light. And then on the wall, I have my Philodendron Brazil kind of climbing. It's starting to attach, I think, a little bit again on the wall because I had this one over here. So yeah, it's starting to grow back. I honestly, I don't know if I'm loving it on the wall as much as I thought. So yeah, I mean, I do love it, but I feel like I honestly maybe just want to make it a trailing plant and not make it climb the walls. I just feel like I'm not utilizing the space here very well, but we'll see. I like it, and then part of me, I keep going back and forth. I kind of want to take it down just so I can get maybe some shelving units to hold more plants or something, just so I can use this wall space better instead of just one big plant there, but we'll see. So this is my Scindapsus shelf. I'm actually going to be doing a lot of propagating on these soon because some of them are getting very, very long and leggy, and I want to fill them out a bit more. I have 2 exoticas. I have one here. This one's actually growing quite a bit of new leaves. This one is beautiful. And then I have my bigger exotica here in that silver basket. Those leaves are gorgeous. I love the exotica. I think it's one of my favorite Synapsis. She is big and full. I do want to fill her out again. She's actually growing kind of long. She has a new leaf here. And then here in the middle, she's got a vine kind of growing down. So yeah, I'll probably end up maybe propagating her at some point too. This one is my Jade Satin here. This one is very beautiful as well. I love the dark green on this. The leaves are so pretty and unique. This one is getting kind of leggy as well, so I might end up propagating that one. I do have some props in a container down there that I'm going to be adding back in. But yeah, I will probably have a propagating Synapsis day. Even my Silver Lady, like this one here, is literally one long vine, and she's all the way down here now. So yeah, this is one that I'm definitely going to do a project on. Move these out of the way here so you can kind of see. I do have one air plant. That's my only air plant, a Tilladancy, I believe. And then I have some Moonlight cuttings there in the back, a small plant. And then this one is my Platinum Synapsis. This one I got from the import, and it is growing. It's kind of growing a little bit leggy. So this one might just be a prop and chop project as well. I might go ahead and just prop it. It's been stable in the pot for a while. This one has a beautiful tone to it as well. But I just want it to fill out more, and yeah, I would rather it not grow leggy. I'd rather get it nice and bushy, so I'll probably prop that soon. This one is my Moonlight, and it's growing kind of two long vines down, which is very pretty. And then it's getting kind of bushy in the middle. So I might prop and add some back in. And then the one that's kind of long, that's trailing all the way down, that one is my Argyrius and my Silver Lady, or no, my Argyrius and my Silvery Ann. I combined them into one. So I kind of like scooped all the strands to one side because the grow light was on this side. So she is getting kind of long down here. But yeah, that is all my Synapsis that I have in my entire collection. I thought they would look really cute just on the one shelf, and I really do love it. This shelf is from IKEA. And yeah, I just want to clean these up a bit and get them kind of more bushy than long and stringy. And here's my Ficus teneki. It's loving being under this grow light. It's still pushing new growth even though it's winter here. I do believe I want to get it outside this year, so it is doing well in this corner. And it shares the light with my Monstera deliciosa. This is one of my Monsteras. I can't remember off the top of my head who this is by now, but it's doing really well. Actually, my Monstera, I just noticed, has a new growth point right here coming in. And so this leaf happened right after the fall, so I would say around September or so, this one unfurled, and so that's a new leaf since then. So I'm happy to see it's pushing a new leaf in winter. It's just one main vine, so I think that Monstera is going to look so cool once it kind of grows up. I'm actually excited to kind of rearrange in here a little bit more. I want to like redo this corner, and I'm actually thinking about moving this shelf out of my plant room and putting that shelf in the guest bedroom there, and moving all these plants out. And then I thought about adding more of those white shells in here and doing more poles, because I want to like space these guys out a little bit more, and just so they're not so squished. But we'll see. That's kind of what my idea is, to do like one pole shelf and then maybe like a ladder shelf to hold plants, and then I can have some room to kind of space these out. This is another shelf from Overstock, and let's start down here. So this is one of my other pink princess philodendrons. Look at this new leaf she gave me. It is so beautiful. I'm so lucky to have so much pink on my pink princess. She's absolutely gorgeous. I love her so much. And this is one of my favorite plants as of lately. This is my Florida Ghost. It is growing in so nicely. I have this one on a thickly pole. And yeah, I grew this one from a node, so it makes me happy seeing this one grow back. She's beautiful. Back behind this one, let me move this out of the way. So that is a frosted heart syngonium. I do have a vine there off of the stake. I'm gonna have to readjust that and get that kind of staked on there in the front to kind of fill in that gap. But yeah, this one has like an interesting growth pattern. It's very kind of interesting how it grows with the aerials like that. So yeah, I have this node here that I'm going to secure. I just need to like Velcro it on like here in the front, and then it will kind of fill in that space a bit more. Yeah, I really like that syngonium. I'm gonna change it out to a longer stake soon, and then I'll have to move it again off the shelf because the plants are just outgrowing this shelf. Oh, I do have some painted lady nodes in here that I still haven't taken care of. I've had these in here for a while, ever since I moved, and yeah, I'll give you a peek at them. Yeah, I need to get these out of moss and get them out of here so that they can start growing. Here in the back is my philodendron sorderoy. It is working on a new growth point. I love this philodendron. It's a newer one in my collection. I feel like I'm really going to love this one as soon as it starts climbing and getting bigger. So beautiful, such gorgeous leaves. The Majestic is a hybrid. It's from sorderoy and something else. So this is the sorderoy, which I like the color and stuff on this one better. So I feel like that one I'm gonna like a lot more. But they're both very beautiful. This shelf, I have another pink princess. This is my last and final pink princess here. She is working on a new growth. That leaf seems so tiny. But yeah, this one has decent variegation on it. I have my other Florida Ghost here. This is the original one. And I accidentally broke the new growth off when I was watering it the other day. So yeah, that sucks. I hate when that happens. This is a linearis prop that is growing. I'm gonna be adding this one back in. This one is in Fluval Stratum. And you can kind of see the roots there. I'll probably get this back added in here at some point soon. This is my variegated Alocasia Frydek. She's gorgeous. That leaf is very beautiful too. So yeah, I recently upsized her on my channel because I felt like I was drying her out. So yeah, I feel like that should hopefully help. And then I have a new Epipremnum plant here. This is a cutting and it does have a growth point. It's just very slow. It is definitely taking its sweet time. So I just have this one under the Barrina light to hopefully help get it growing more. I think the biggest difference before we continue on is I completely like rearranged the plants on here. And here in the middle, I have thick leaf poles here because I have 3 that I extended that you can't really tell in the back that are kind of up higher. And here's another anthurium I moved out. I just kind of made some room for some other plants and just kind of rearranged a little bit. So I feel like it's helped for now. This is my Forgetii. I had this one in my cabinet as well and it was so squished. It does have a new leaf there in the back and it does have an inflow. But this one, I'm trying to not let my anthuriums get too dry, especially when they're pushing new leaves, because they really do use up so much water to focus on pushing out that growth. So I'm trying to be better about that and keeping them more hydrated. This one is my silver stripe. This one is on a thick leaf pole. This one is similar to a Brazil, but it has that striping down the center. Do you see that? Whereas the Brazil has like the green like that. So yeah, I can't wait for this one to climb and get bigger leaves. I just think that green stripe is so pretty. This one is my Florida Beauty that had completely reverted. I ended up taking a stake just to support the vine, and the top leaves are a little bit weird because they were squished where I had it before, so that one is definitely reaching to the light up there. But yeah, when this leaf goes, it will no longer be a variegated plant. It'll just be all green. And I did, you know, chop it back on my channel, and none of the growth has come back variegated. There is absolutely no variegation within this plant, so it is very sad. very, very sad. That's why I am happy I have the one from Root Greenhouse, but again, that one still, oop, there it goes. That one still is not very variegated because it seems to be doing every other leaf. So in my future, I do want one that is highly variegated because I just love the leaf shape on these. The Florida Ghosts, I just think, the Philodendron Floridas, I think the leaf shape is just so pretty. I just love them. So I would love to have a fully variegated one day. So that is it for that shelf. This section up top, so this is my Monstera obliqua that Chai chewed. It is growing back. He actually chewed it again after this leaf grew back. You can see the end, because I actually have this one over here on the window and they keep jumping up there. So I ended up moving this one back over here. So hopefully it'll do okay over here. It's not like super close to the light, so I feel like it's not too intense for it. So I feel like it's gonna do okay. And this is my variegated heartleaf heteroraceum. I think the leaf variegation and shape is so pretty on this plant. So pretty. I can't wait to get this one growing up. Let me move these to the side so I don't really have to move these ones in the back. So I have a variegated micans here. This is a halo micans. You can kind of see that leaf shape there. It's 2 vines in here right now, but I'll probably end up like chopping and propping to fill out the pole a little bit more. The one in the middle is my Monstera Stanleyana albo, and I'm gonna have to add more moss in there soon. It's getting kind of close to the top. But yeah, this one has more green than more like albo looking leaves. But yeah, it does have a few in there that are kind of more albo-y looking. But that one is on a thickly pole, as well as this one here. This one is my Global Green Pothos. It kind of looks like that. And look how big this leaf here has gotten already. So that one is on their grow pole too, and I'm gonna have to add moss to those soon because they're kind of reaching the top. But yeah, I didn't really have anywhere to put these 3, so they're kind of just hanging out here for now, and it works. Let me back up so you can kind of see them more. So yeah, it works for now. Moving down, this is the one of the cuts of my Florida Beauty that I chopped. I have one here, and I actually have another one here. Yeah, they're all green, but I just kept a couple of the cuts. Again, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this eventually. Here's a new leaf here. Yeah, nothing is variegated. I'm not like expecting any variegation to come back on this plant. This one is my Syngonium aria. I have a lot of my Syngoniums kind of just like, I tried to make them a bushy pot, but I'm finding that they really want to climb. I don't really like the bushy look of them anymore. So I have my aria here, which is the yellow variegation, which is really pretty. So I think I'm gonna get this one growing either up a stake. I don't know if I wanna do a pole for these because I have that one. I have the Mojito, which is getting kind of tall. It has like the mottled variegation. And that one is just one vine kind of growing. And then I have another huge one up here. This is my Baltic. It is so full and fluffy. I don't know if you can make out how full that is. I like chopped and propped this one to death. But it is growing very, very tall. So I think I might do some kind of like climbing support for these and do something different with them. Here's another Syngonium in the back. That's my Pink Splash. I don't know if you can see that back there. It has beautiful pink and green speckling on the leaves. So yeah, I'll probably get that one climbing too. And I have another Syngonium here. This one is my Strawberry Ice. Has some beautiful pink leaves. Like, look at that new one down there. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. It still has a lot of green. It's not very like strawberry icy, but it still gives me some beautiful variegation. And I have another Mamei cutting back there. And then here in the front, I have some Hoyas. This one is a Hoya Chelsea. It's just one vine. I am gonna propagate this one. This one was in my cabinet, but I moved it out. And here's some Monstera Peru cuttings that are very rooted in here. I need to repot these and fix this with my regular Monstera Peru is up there that I'll show you, but yeah, I need to get this one repotted and staked. There in the back, I have a rescue Orbifolia that is growing back. So I just see 2 growth points. I accidentally dropped it and broke all the stems. So go figure. I have a Hoya here. This is a Carry Eye Splash. This one was a cutting and it's growing all these cute little splashy hearts. I think the heart leaves are, the shape is so cute, the little heart leaves. I just think that's adorable. And then I have a Syngonium Willandii back there. It has like dark green, velvety leaves. It's really pretty. I'll probably get that one staked at some point. And then I got rid of my other Hoyas, so these are some cuttings that I took from them. It's like a Pubicalyx Splash. So I have those rooting in Fluval. I did not move these out of the way. So this is my silver band Maranta. You can see all that speckling, that is sulfur. And I have a Calathea medallion that also is treated with sulfur. So I was concerned some of my plants have flat mites, these 2 being one of them. So I'm doing the whole 6-week sulfur treatment. So I have them kind of isolated in the middle of my plant room. They're not really around other plants, but they're still getting some light. So yeah, we're just going to kind of leave them here. I'm not convinced that I have flat mites, but I'm concerned. Because the plant just has some weird markings that is very unusual. So yeah, and I did find some tiny like orangey dots on that one when I was checking. It is still growing and pushing new leaves, which are a lot happier than the older leaves. So hopefully it'll do okay. My prop box is doing well. I have fully acclimated them so they don't need the lid anymore. I just have to work on getting all these guys potted up, but I have several cuttings in here. I'm going to be adding the golden pothos back in my pots. I have some Baltic blue, which I'll probably do on a pole. And I have a brandy cutting, Morrison Dapsis. And then I have some extra, these are like literally all grown from empty nodes. I have a Pearls and Jade or Enjoy. They kind of look like mixed pots. I am going to be doing, I have decided I want that one to climb on a pole as well. So I'll probably get those cuttings potted up here soon. Starting down here on the bottom, I have 4 Hoyas down here. And then I actually have a pup of my Pilea down in there. I took that little pup off of mine and it's growing quite a bit actually. It's so cute. It's crazy that that came literally off of my plant. They're so easy to propagate. That is a variegated compacta. You can see I've had this plant forever. It is such a slow grower. Let me move this one for a second. Oh, there in the back I have my Albovata. Look at the tiny new leaf coming in. I still have yet to repot this one. I'm gonna do like a Hoya care day and like repot some and propagate some, so I might do that for a video. So yeah, it's just like one long vine. I have my regular Australis here on a trellis, on a heart leaf trellis. And this is my Curtisii here. It's on a heart-shaped trellis. Yeah, so none of these Hoyas have bloomed, and the ones like that are getting the sun have pretty much bloomed. So I feel like the light has definitely helped Hoyas bloom. Here's a Mandula. This one is on a thick leaf pole. I can't wait for this one to start climbing. And it has a new leaf there and a new leaf there and I think a new leaf there. So I think I have a few lines in here, but I can't wait for huge Mandula leaves one day. It's gonna be so pretty. I have my Philodendron Birkin there in the back. I feel like they're not as popular anymore. This new leaf came out very white. Yeah, I still like mine. I mean, I don't know, I still think the leaves are pretty on it, and it's like a fuss-free philo, honestly. It doesn't really give me any trouble, so I'm still keeping mine. I have my El Choco Red back here. It is working on a new growth, and I desperately need to repot it. I feel like I'm stressing it because I'm letting it get a little too dry. It currently has 5 leaves and a new one coming in, and it has the red underside. so pretty. So I do need to get that repotted sooner than later. And this one is my strawberry shake phyllo. I'm not really in love with it anymore. I grew it from this original leaf, which is going. I mean, it does have some nice variegated leaves, but I don't know. I like my pink princess a lot more. I'm not really a fan of this one, and the aerials on this plant have just grown like crazy because of the humidity and stuff. So it just kind of looks, it doesn't look appealing, I guess, but yeah, I definitely would not. For me personally, I wouldn't really recommend this one over a pink princess. I guess it's like personal preference, but yeah, it's not my favorite. I showed you that syngonium, and I have an aria cutting in there. Here on the back, I have a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that is growing. So I am going to be getting that one probably staked up at some point soon. I feel like it's starting to give me some vines, so I'm gonna probably do that at some point. I have my Monstera Peru back there, and that is the like original bottom growth. So some of these older leaves are yellowing, but yeah, I'm gonna get this repotted and staked, or maybe do some kind of pull with it with the cuttings that I have there that I took. And this is my High-Low Beauty Caladium. I've kept it alive all winter. It's been in my cabinet, but I took it out, and it only keeps 3 leaves at a time, so it's pushing a new leaf. This one actually looks like it's probably going, so it's probably gonna kill this one off. But yeah, I think I might get that one put outside this summer and see how much I can get it to grow out there in the spring. But I mean, it is a beautiful leaf, like look at that. But I guess I've never really been a fan of mine just because it's always been like, I don't know, it hasn't really grown big or grown more, so hopefully I can get it growing this summer. And then I showed you my Baltic, and then the other 2 plants is I have my Billietier, which hasn't grown a lot this summer for me. He is on my repot list. They have really long petioles there. And yeah, he has outgrown his current pot. So he's very long, he takes up a lot of space. But yeah, I am going to get him repotted soon. And then there in the back is my only begonia. It is my Begonia maculata. And it's getting super tall. It has beautiful like red undersides. I don't know if the camera's picking it up very much. You can't really make out the beauty of this plant with it being like so up high under the light, but once I take it down and like move it, and you can actually see it from like down below, it's so pretty. This is my Philodendron Mayoi back here in the corner. It doesn't get much light. Something sticky. I recently chopped the head off because the new growth came out really weird. So I'm gonna have to move this plant out of this corner, I think. I just don't think it likes getting hardly any light back here. So yeah, I'm either gonna have to add another light or move this one. The only other thing in here that I didn't show you is this is my Jess Sienna, my full basket here. I took cuttings off this one to do on the moss pole. So yeah, again, the new leaves come in so pretty. Oh, and I forgot to show you, I have a few plants that I moved under here. I forgot to show you. I have 2 more Hoyas, and then I have another Maranta. This one is one of my lemon limes here. This is my original one that is growing back. She's beautiful. I do have several props that I will show you that I took, and I am going to be adding quite a bit back in this one. That is my Australis Lisa. Those new leaves are pretty. And then I have this one got relabeled or reclassified as a latifolia from a macrophylla. I've always known it as a macrophylla. It's pushing a new vine out over there, but it has not bloomed for me yet. I've had this Hoya in my collection for a while, so I'm hoping this year is the year that it gets blooms. I hope you guys have been enjoying my houseplant tour so far. We are going to be finishing up here. My plant room is done, so I'm going to take you through a few other areas and just show you those. I did just recently do a tour in September, so not a whole lot has changed out there. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but I'll just show you the plants and we'll be pretty much done. So I do keep a money tree here by the front door, and it gets some light, and I try to keep it rotated so that you know, it doesn't grow like lopsided. It did come down with spider mites not too long ago, but I did treat it. It would definitely appreciate more light, but I feel like by the entryway it kind of fits and it just works for this space. Over here in this extra bedroom, I have 4 Hoyas that I'm going to be repotting this summer. And I have a few cacti in for the summer, and that's the remaining plant of my pothos and enjoy pearls and jade. I have a Weddii, a compacta, I have another lacinosa, that one has bloomed, and then I have a bilobata. So yeah, I'm gonna be redoing those. Up here, I have some extra plants I'm not keeping. They're just a lot of props and random stuff. I'm not really gonna go into too much details with those. I have some props that I took off of my neon and my syndapsis that are rooting. You can kind of see they're pretty rooted in there. I'll probably take those out soon. These here were some cuts off of my Monstera adansonii pole, like the bottom cut of the pole. And then I have my neon lemon lime heteroraceum here kind of trailing down. I recently added a grow light up top, and here's another Weddii Hoya. See, I'm gonna be probably like end up taking this whole section and making a separate plant shelf out of, because I feel like this space isn't really being utilized that well, and we don't really use this dresser. So I'm thinking about moving this to the opposite wall and then doing a plant setup in this half of the room, I think will be the plan. This area pretty much looks the same. I didn't really do too much. I kind of took some plants out of my plant room and I kind of rearranged a little over here. So this is my other Hoya that was treated with sulfur. This is the Crimson Princess that I was concerned that had some possible flat mites. So we'll see. I only did 1 treatment so far on all these guys, so I'm probably going to be spraying them down again probably soon. But yeah, that dried stuff is just all the sulfur that is remaining from when I sprayed it. Here in the window, I have a Calathea medallion that I cut back that is starting to grow back. I have a variegated peperomia and then a pink lady peperomia. I have a variegated Monstera Peru. This one was in my plant room, but I'm trying it over here in this east window light instead of in my plant room. It just keeps browning, so yeah, I don't know, eventually, I don't know if I can get it to grow nice, I'll like it, but because it browns so much, I don't really care for that plant anymore. I have a couple more Hoyas over here. I have a Crimson Queen, which I took out of my plant room because I just didn't really have room for it. And then I have my Archboldiana here, and it recently gave me this long tendril, so I imagine I should be getting some more leaves on this one soon. But my Crimson Queen here seems happy. It's pushing some new growth since being over here in the window. So yeah, this is east light, so it seems to do okay. Down here I have Maranta props. I have variegated in here, regular, rabbit tracks. I have lemon lime, and all these guys are pretty much rooted in here. I definitely can add these back in. I just have to take the time to do that. This is my silver sword that I recently chopped back. This is the top cutting. So I have that rooting in some Fluval Stratum. And then I had some nodes, the baby plants. I have 2 that I potted into a new soil mix that I wanted to try out. And then I have a node in Fluval, and these 2 didn't really have many roots, so I have those rooting in Fluval. Those had enough roots that I felt comfortable potting them into a soil mix. And the top cut, I'm going to root this one in Fluval. I have not tried it with like just like a big cutting like this, so I'm gonna see how this one roots. But yeah, I had chopped it back because it got spider mites, and I didn't like the way the growth was growing on it. I have my snake plant prop there that's rooting. I have, this is the new ZZ plant from Costa Farms. It's the, oh, what is this one called? It just lost me. I can't remember what this one's called now off the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen. But it has like the lighter green color. And then I have a couple props down here that haven't rooted yet that came off of that one. I have another Hoya Pubicalyx Splash that I took out of my plant room. So that one is there. I have 2 snake plants. This one is a Sayuri or Metallica or Siam Silver. And that is my oldest one there in the back. I'm gonna put these outside in a couple more months. And then this is my big, long, trailing philodendron micans. It has had a battle with spider mites these last several months. I've done 3 treatments on it. And yeah, I still keep finding a few. I just think there's so many leaves. So yeah, I might have to do another treatment. I actually might end up propping this some just so it's not so long, but we'll see. I would actually like to fill out the other side and get it cascading down all sides, because right now it's just in the front. I have a Dracaena marginata that is going to go back outside once spring gets here. And then I have 2 Monstera deliciosas. Let me come around this way. So this is a new leaf recently. Look how pretty. And then these are new leaves on this one. So yeah, I have several Monstera deliciosas. Like before, I have one in my plant room, these 2, and I have these props over here that are very rooted in water. This one was outside last summer, and then I might put this one outside too. I have a lemon lime maranta down here. That one just kind of hangs out and as happy as can be. I have some caladium bulbs in those containers I'm going to be planting come spring here. This is my Marble Queen pothos. I took cuttings off this one to do my Marble Queen pole. And I wrapped my big neon pothos here. It goes like here, and she goes all the way here and then all the way down. She is really long. Again, I had her in my plant room cascading over the cabinet, but I just kind of put her here for now just because I didn't really have a spot for her and she was just taking up too much space. So once spring gets here, some of these plants, I actually might putting some of these outside. My staghorn fern I'm gonna put back out there. I have this one in here for now and it's doing well. I've been bad about letting this one dry out, so I'm trying to keep this one a bit more hydrated. This is the new lemon meringue, I believe, or it's an emerald pothos. I'm actually not sure which one it is now, but it was a new one at the big box store, so I think it's the lemon meringue. At least that's the new one from Costa Farms. It has like a, kind of like the global green, but like reversed variegation. And here, I just wanted to show you this again. So I have a golden pothos up top. I'm gonna be adding some cuttings in. And I had chopped that maybe a few months ago. You can see kind of where I cut them and the growth had started growing back again. I have another lemon lime maranta in here. This one is very happy. It is a lot colder in this bedroom. This gets pretty much low light. I do have a grow bulb in there that shines on these plants. I have my big Tenanthe right here. She is happy as a clam. No matter where I put her, she's just so happy. Did a cat chew this? One of the cats must have chewed that leaf. How did the cats get that? Must have been shy. Yeah, she is happy as can be, but I'm gonna move her back by the east window come spring. And then over here I have some maranta props. I'm gonna be adding these props back into that pot, and I have one more in my bathroom that I'm gonna be adding some in. That one's gotten a little straggly. It's gotten some like dead leaves. I think it just got stressed being kind of like a little bit colder for some reason in here. So I'm gonna be adding some props in and filling that one back out. Moving into my bathroom, the plants in here are pretty much the same. I have a big golden pothos. I need to repot this one in the spring because it dries out pretty fast in here. So it is definitely becoming root bound. I have not repotted it yet. It is in the Costa Farm pot, and I bought that in 2000 and it was in an old shopping video I did, because I took cuttings off this one. I was going to do this one on a pole, but I decided not to. So yeah, I need to repot that. Here is my other lemon lime. Very big, very beautiful. And then I have another maranta up here. And then I have a Calathea rosapictea sylvia. This one is very, very beautiful. I love the pink on that. She's so pretty. She's got new growth coming in. Such a beautiful Calathea. She's been really happy too. And that one, I'm gonna add some props in to fill that one out a bit more. All right, that is the end of my plant tour. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will probably do another tour, maybe sometime over the summer as I kind of rearrange again and move plants outside for summer. And then I'll do probably one more tour, probably at fall time, just to see the growth over the summer and see kind of what else I decide to do with the space here. And as I move plants as they get bigger, I definitely feel like after this summer, my plants are really just going to, some of them are really going to explode. So it is very crammed in here. It is very cluttered. So I will take you along on that process if I decide to redo that guest bedroom a little bit. And I do want to reconfigure the living space by that window a little bit better for next year. I want to add more light, or for this year, I want to add more light and just get it set up a little bit differently. And then I'll probably downsize some multiples of plants that I have. Or if I decide to take some cuttings, then I will probably work on maybe just downsizing a bit and maybe selling some plants and getting rid of some plants. So that is the plan for this year, is to create more space. And I don't really want to get too many plants this year. I'm pretty happy with my collection. They're growing and getting big. I don't feel a need to get new different plants. I actually have plant mail coming today for my birthday. My birthday's coming up. My birthday will have passed by the time you guys see this video, but I did get a couple plants, which you guys will see on my channel. I'm going to do an unboxing. So that's 2 more to add to my collection. One is an alocasia and one is a climbing plant, so another pole. So I don't want to keep adding a bunch of plants. I think if I get any new plants this year, I might get more calathea, just because they don't grow as big, as fast per se, and I can keep them on the floor because of the cats. I would definitely love to get more calathea, and then I would say more alocasia this year. I wouldn't mind getting smaller plants just because I don't really have small plants anymore. I miss my small plants because now all of my plants have gotten huge. So other than that, I don't really want too many other plants. I do have some phylos and other plants on my wish list that I wouldn't mind getting this year if the opportunity came up, but I think for 2023 I'm not going to buy so many, so that is my goal anyway. Again, I will have links down below to everything that I could find for you. If you're wanting a link to something I'm using, or if you have questions about anything, definitely leave a comment and let me know. I will also have linked down below my previous houseplant tours if you were interested in watching those and seeing kind of the growth of some of my plants and the progress they've made. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys again very soon.